Okay, this is Reading for Charity again with the 6th, 7th, 5th, something review of the night. Ulysses by James Joyce. Now, this was hard going. This one. I mean, what, 800 pages, something like that? 780 odd pages of dense prose, some of which is in stream of consciousness and missing punctuation, some of which is written in theatrical style, some of which is just written just as literal walls of text. I mean, paragraphs that last for 2 or 3 pages. This was a hard book to read. Not necessarily for the content. The content is relatively straightforward. It's literally it's the very definition of a day in a life novel. Of Leopold Bloom. It is literally the day in the life of Leopold Bloom, and the fact he manages to get 780 odd pages out of the day in the life, it tells you into what sort of detail it goes. Leopold Bloom is both the most interesting and most boring man alive, in my opinion. I don't know what to say about this book. I fell asleep reading this book so many times. I would read it, I would be 20 pages in, and then it would slap me in the face, and I'd wake up, and I'd do 20 more pages, and then I would wake up with it in my face again. It was genuinely hard going. It was a hard read book. I didn't enjoy it that much. And I'm not entirely sure it's a book that's designed or written to be enjoyed. It feels very much like it's a clever book. It's clever and it's worthy and it's designed to be analysed and worked over. Essentially, it's what I disparagingly call literature. Books that are written, not for the purpose of actually being read, but for the purpose of being analysed. And there's a few of those. There's been a few of those in the from some of the Russian authors I've read. The Dostoevskys, like The Idiot. I felt The Idiot was written in a similar fashion. It was written to be analysed rather than read. I don't think it was a story per se. I mean, there is obviously story elements in there, and it's obviously, it follows one man's life through the day. Things happen to him, but I don't feel it's written. I don't think it's been written as a. I don't think it's been written as a story. It's been written. There's allusions and there's alliteration and there's poetry, and then there's the switching of the styles. It's all been very much written to impress people who are impressed by that sort of thing. I'm not that person. I like a good story. I'm unashamedly straightforward in the books I like to read. I like a good story. I can appreciate worthy novels, but 780 pages of worthy novels, no, not for me, man, not for me. I don't know what else to say about this novel very much. I mean, it's an important novel because of the things that, because of the worthiness of it. So for things like the episode in the book where he's I tried to keep these streams PG-13. So how to actually say this, to the instant in the book where he's basically peeping Tom, where he's being a peeping Tom, and what happens there. Back when this was written, when was this written? The 30s? I think it was the 30s. Yeah, something like that. It's not actually got it. There you go. 1934. There you go. So, back in the 30s when this was written, that was absolutely electric. When I go and check Wikipedia and various sites to see what other people say about the books after I finish them, there's all the the Wikipedia article for Ulysses is huge. It's long, and it has an entire section dedicated to how this book was banned in the US due to obscenity. And, you know, for that reason, it's important in the same ways that I think 50 Shades of Grey is important. Because the conversation was had, regardless of the quality of the book, regardless of the worthiness of the prose that got the obscenity order, it's important because it sparked the conversation. People talked about what is obscene, what's not obscene, what's acceptable in a book, what's unacceptable in a book, what's acceptable in life, what's unacceptable in life. You know, the fact that it sparked those conversations, I think, is more important than the book itself. Because heaven knows the book is a story. You know, I'm not an English lit graduate. I'm not the person who's going to read this book and go, yes, wonderful use of form, wonderful use of language, the anapestic feat displayed in this section. I only know anapestic feat thanks to my wife. It's just a phrase in my head. I'm not the person who's going to go down this book and read all those elements into it, but that's what it's been read for. This everything surrounding it is the important bit to me, in the same way that 50 Shades of Grey is important. And I'm not sure what else I can say about the book. I was bored by this. Genuinely, I was bored by this. It's a hard book to get through. It even makes Dublin boring, and I adore Dublin. Dublin is one of my favourite cities in this world, and it makes Dublin boring, which is sad. It is very, very, very sad. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. 7 minutes. 7 minutes of a recording. That's fine. Totally fine. Ulysses. Should you read this book? Should you read Ulysses by James Joyce? Honestly, no. I don't think you should. If you're looking for a story, if you're looking for something enjoyable to read, I don't think this is it. I think people buy this book to sit on their shelves and look good, sit on coffee tables to look good, or because you've been assigned it in your English literature class. Those are the reasons why this book exists, why this book is still being sold. If you're not in one of those categories, don't bother, really. It's a very worthy book, and I'm glad it exists. I just don't think you need to read it. It's good for other reasons. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, next up. Next up, there's reviews. We're going to try get War and Peace. War and Peace. That's going to be the next book review. So, again, give me 20 seconds. I need to switch the stream titles. I need to switch the picture on OBS, and I will be back for reviewing War and Peace. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. See you again in 20 seconds.